Cadasio users looking to create 2D documentation, the Layouts feature is the ideal solution. Layouts eliminate the need to use secondary publishing tools such as Word and allows you to build your own bespoke templates. These templates are reusable, ensuring consistency across your documents whilst saving you time and effort. Layouts can be found on the main menu within the dashboard. To create a new layout, use the Add icon and give it a name. Click Create and you'll be taken into the layout editor. Before we get creating, let's explore the interface. Starting with the left-hand menu, first we have Populate. From here, we can create and use templates to populate a document. The Projects tab is where you can browse any project and choose its step images to place onto the page. Your assets can be added to the documents from the Library tab. Elements include items such as text, lines, shapes, and images that can be placed and edited directly within your document. The background options let you customize the background by setting a color or adding an image. Layers manage the stacking order of items on the page. Items higher in the list are displayed in front of those lower in the list. Page Sizes defines the size and orientation that you're working on. QR code allows you to display a QR code from a custom URL or publish project share link. This is really useful if you are supplying 2D documentation with your product, but also want your users to be able to access the 3D interactive presentation too. There are various usability and display options available, such as guides, page numbers, rulers, and bleed. And finally, on the left-hand menu, the Publish tab is the last step once a document has been completed, and where you can save out as either 2D images or a PDF. In addition to the left-hand menu, a context-sensitive toolbar also sits at the top of the document, which will display useful tools depending on what is selected. Page controls sit above the active page, allowing you to reorder and delete pages. Carousel of the pages in the document sits at the bottom and means you can quickly jump between, add, reorder and delete pages. Layouts will autosave, but you can save them manually at any point using the icon in the top corner or the hamburger menu in the top left-hand corner, which is also how you return to the Cadasio dashboard. Okay, so now you've seen the interface, let's build a layout from scratch to get familiar with the features. I'll guide you through creating a document which includes a cover page and subsequent pages with step images arranged and organised. Along the way, we'll also create reusable templates, making it easy to populate new documents with different projects whilst keeping the same design. Before adding items to our document, it's important to ensure we're working with the correct dimensions. From the Paper Size tab, I'll select the appropriate size. First, we will create the cover page. This will consist of an image of the product name, a company logo, and also a few other text-based items and graphical elements too. Let's begin with the main image on the page, which will come from one of my Cadasio projects. First, I'll navigate to the Projects tab and select the relevant project. All the step images associated with that project will appear below. From there, I can simply drag and drop the desired image onto the page. Using the drag handles, I can easily adjust its size and position to fit exactly how I want. Additional images can be added from our assets. Using the library, I can bring in my company logo. Adding text is really straightforward using the text buttons on the Elements tab. There's full access to all Google fonts, and text can be styled exactly how you'd expect. I'll add a title, the project name, product code, and date. To add a bit more interest to this cover page, I'll add in some shape elements, style them, and then ensure they are below everything else using the Layers tab. As the shapes are not going to be edited, it can be useful to lock them so they don't get accidentally moved in the future. Great, I've now added all the elements needed for my cover page, so let's save the document. All of my documents in the future will require the same cover page design. So to remove the need to do all that work again, this page can be saved as a template to be used within future layouts. But first, I'll make some minor adjustments. Some of the text will remain the same every time, such as the instruction manual text, but some text needs to be dynamic, changing to reflect the displayed project. I want the project name to match whichever project is shown in the step image. This is achieved by inserting a property and choosing project name. In theory, multiple images, all from different projects, could be on the same page. So in order for projects to populate, they need to know which project to get the data from, and this is achieved by grouping the text and step image. With the text item and image selected, select the group button from the top bar. The text then updates to reflect the correct project name, and also, because the items are grouped, they move as one. Great! Now that everything is dynamically linked, I'll save this to reuse at a later date. To do this, go to the Populate tab and select Create Template from Current Page. This will just save the active page, not the entire document. This makes layouts extremely flexible, as you will see shortly. Let's move on and create the next page, which will be our main instruction page. I'd like my pages to have 2 images on, each with a step number and description. Let's start by bringing in a step image from the Projects tab. Let's also add a border to it by going to Effects, switching it on, and then setting the thickness. From the Elements tab, I can bring in 2 lots of text, one that will have the step index property, and the other which will link to the step description. Remember, to get the properties to populate, I need to group them with a step image, as we did for the cover page. Once the image has been added and grouped, I can simply duplicate the group to get a second. To show a different step image, I can simply drag and drop another one on top of this duplicate and they'll swap out. The document can then be saved. I could now continue by duplicating this page, swapping out images for each required step. However, a project could have hundreds of steps, so this would be extremely time consuming. Instead, we'll create a template from this page. Once saved, you'll notice the template gets added and a thumbnail created. We now have a template for the cover page and a template for our standard instruction page. In order to make things easy to understand, I'm going to start a fresh document to demonstrate how our newly created templates could now be used to create a layout for a project. In this new empty document, we first need a cover page, and this can be selected from the Populate tab. When a template is used, it will add as many pages as required in order to populate all the step images in the template with the number of step images chosen in the interface. Multiple pages will be added to accommodate this where necessary. As we only require one cover page, I'm going to select the project that I want to use and then just a single specific step, which in my case is the first step. If I now click Populate, a new page will be added, and the current step image and project name are brought through. Using a template always adds new pages, so I'll delete the first empty page as it is no longer needed. Earlier on, I added a date and product code to the cover page template. Both of these will be unique to this document and need to be manually changed, but you'll notice that I cannot edit them. This is because when we use a template, it locks the items, so we can't accidentally move them. This is ideal as the purpose of a template is to ensure consistency across all documents. However, you can simply unlock an item, edit it, and then relock it. Next, let's populate our main instruction pages. This will be slightly different to the cover page, as we want a number of steps from our project to be brought through. You can choose individual steps, all steps, or a selection of steps. There are also handy filters here to exclude play and hidden steps. In this example, I want to populate all of the steps apart from the one used for the cover image. When I click Populate, a number of pages are added. Since we're using images from our project, a huge time-saving advantage of Cadasio layouts is that they will keep up to date when our steps change. I can quickly open up a Cadasio project from a step image. Let's update one of the steps. And when we come back to the layout, we can either refresh the individual image or refresh all images that have been placed using the option on the corner menu. This is really powerful as it saves a great deal of manual rework and also dramatically reduces the chance of errors. With all of our pages added to the document, the final thing I'm going to do is save it out. This is done from the Publish tab, and we can choose to save as images or as a PDF. Brilliant! I've now created a 2D document quickly and easily from my 3D Cadasio project without having to go into another application. Make sure to check out our other videos and follow us on your favourite social platforms for more tips and news.